Hi, I'm Gwen Preston of Resource Maven with a little outline of how I choose stocks in this rising metals market. So gold just pushed up through $1,300. It had been trying to do so for almost 6 weeks, and then when it happened, it shot right through that level and has stayed above, looking strong and setting up for what looks to be a pretty strong fall, and who knows what to come from there. That move is really bringing some new eyes back to the sector. Gold is a cyclical beast, and when it goes, it really goes. Investors remember the gains that they got in the last market, and that sort of momentum builds on itself. And so investors are looking for ways to enter this scene. If that describes you, if you're one of those investors who's newly attuned to this rising metals market, this market that looks like it's going to be strong for everything from gold to zinc and copper to uranium, you're up against that question. What stocks do I actually buy to play this game? Well, there's a few different ways to answer that. Certainly, the common criteria matter. You want to have a really strong management team. You want a good project that's in the right kind of jurisdiction. You want a good share structure. You want money in the bank, and you want a plan for how this is going to move forward. Those things absolutely matter. But what I say is, when you're trying to figure out what stocks you want to buy, the first question you need to ask is, what's your risk tolerance? Exploration is an incredibly high-risk game. Yes, you can get immense gains. One of the stocks in the Maven portfolio is currently up 6-fold in only a matter of months because of a really exciting discovery that they made. But other stocks fail. That's the high risk, high reward that's inherent in exploration. So that's why you need to start with risk. If you don't like a lot of risk in your investment portfolio, explorers are not your game. You can still participate in a metals market. You can still buy major gold miners. You can buy gold-linked ETFs. There are ways that you can get exposure, and that's good. You will still get gains out of those, but explorers are not for you. If you do love the high-risk, high-reward aspect of this market, that's fantastic. Then, though, you know explorers are your game, but you need to choose from within the hundreds of companies that are out there exploring which ones to put your money in. That's where some specific insight really helps. You need to understand a reasonable amount of geology. You need to know enough about the jurisdictions in the world that investors and major miners really like to know where your best odds of success are going to be. You need to be able to track news releases to understand when the good news is good and when the news is not so good. And you need to watch the share price pretty much daily so that you can manage your risk. If it goes up, you want to sell at least some to lock in your gains. If it goes down, you need to understand why and decide if it's time to step out. That's the high risk, high reward. You can make a lot of money with explorers, but you can lose it as well. So you have to be okay with risk. You could also sit in the middle of the road. You could be okay with some risk, but maybe not all of it. And there's opportunity there too. That's where the more advanced stage projects, the developers or the small scale miners or new miners come in. Those stocks offer a lot of good upside, but with a little bit less of the risk that the exploration stocks have, that is so inherent in those exploration stocks. The developers, the new miners, these guys are targets of acquisition for major miners. You can get real share price excitement from those with a little bit less risk. With all of this, it starts with understanding your comfort with risk, and then what you really need to ask yourself is, what do I know and what do I not know? And then you need to figure out how to fill in the gaps. What you don't know is important. You need to find a person, a colleague, a friend, or a newsletter writer like myself who can help fill in the gaps of what you don't know so that you, within your risk tolerance and in the right arena, can make the most out of what is going to be a very profitable metals market over the next few years.